Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Nurul Natasha binti Azhar and my matrix number is 2022618952 from ELC231. Today I would like to share movie review for this subject. I have chosen my all-time favorite movie since I was a kid, but at that time there's only a book that I really loved to hear my mom read it as my bedtime story at night, which is Pinocchio. The interesting part why I would choose this movie is because Pinocchio is a cultural icon and one of the most reimagined characters in children's literature. His story has been adapted into many other media, notably the 1940 Disney film Pinocchio. So without wasting more time, let's figure it out. So Geppetto, who lived with his pet kitten Figaro and goldfish Cleo, has completed work on a puppet based on his young deceased son, which he names Pinocchio. Before falling asleep, Geppetto makes a wish on a star. Later that night, the star magically brings Pinocchio to life, and he is soon visited by the blue fairy, who tells him that if he acts brave, truthful, and selfless, he can be a real boy. The blue fairy appoints Jiminy the responsibility of being Pinocchio's conscience to teach him right from wrong. When Geppetto awakens and finds Pinocchio alive, he is at first shocked but becomes overjoyed. A group of kids on a coach led by the charismatic coachman kidnap Pinocchio and take him to Pleasure Island, where misbehavior is encouraged. Once there, Pinocchio is disturbed by some of the brutality the kids display, but befriends an irresponsible boy named Ludwig and manage to enjoy some of the attractions. Later on, Jiminy finds that all of the children have turned into the donkeys, and that the coachman sells them into the salt mines with help from his ghost. Pinocchio witnesses Ludwig's transformation at a billiard hall as Pinocchio gains a donkey's ears and tail. Pinocchio and Jiminy escape the island before the coachman and his goons can get them. And lastly, the Geppetto informs Pinocchio that, despite being a puppet, he is a real boy at heart. Believing his father has died, Pinocchio mourns over him, and a magical tear falls from his eye on Geppetto, reviving him. As Pinocchio and Geppetto depart for home, Jiminy narrates that stories have been told of Pinocchio becoming a real boy, but doesn't confirm them, even as Pinocchio's lines appear to turn human, stressing that in his heart, Pinocchio is already a real boy. So, what do you think about this movie? Interesting, isn't it? I believe that you will find this movie very interesting, same goes as me. So, this movie was directed and produced by Robert Zemeckis, and it was written by Carlo Collodi. Most of the scene of the movie was filmed in Italian village. This movie was released on 8 September 2022, and this movie genre more focused on fantasy, musical, family, and adventure. Pinocchio is a 2022 movie starring the voice of Benjamin Evan Ainsworth as Pinocchio that was built and carved by his father Geppetto in a small Italian village in 1855. A vagrant cricket named Jiminy Cricket enters the home of a widowed elderly woodcarver named Geppetto, who lived with his pet kitten Figaro and goldfish Cleo. Geppetto has completed work on a puppet based on his young deceased son, which he names Pinocchio. Pinocchio wants nothing more than to be a real boy and make Geppetto proud of him. When Geppetto sends Pinocchio to school, the false con artist Ernest, John, and his cat partner Gideon soon approach Pinocchio. He convinced Pinocchio that he should live a life of fame to truly be a real boy, when he really plans to sell him to the puppet master Stromboli. Luckily, with the help of a seagull named Sophia, Jiminy convinces Pinocchio to go to school, but Pinocchio is kicked out by the headmaster because he is a puppet. So Pinocchio decides to go to Stromboli's after all, while Honest John places a glass jar over Jiminy. Pinocchio is a brave boy. When Pinocchio, just as they reunite safe and finds Geppetto, they are swallowed by a giant sea monster named Monstro. They take refuge in a giant boat in Monstro's stomach, and Pinocchio gets the idea to make him sneeze by starting a fire within him. The plan works, and Monstro sniffs them out, but he gives chase that ends with the group crashing on dry land and apparently killing Geppetto. Pinocchio is also a loving boy because when Fabiana and Sofia offer him to join them, but Pinocchio declines, wanting to save his father first, which makes his donkey parts disappear. Sofia pulls a rope off Pinocchio to hold out to the Mediterranean Sea, where they soon find Geppetto in his boat. Pinocchio was important because without him, Geppetto will be lonely, and that's the reason why he worked on a Pinocchio based on his young deceased son. Next was Joseph Gordon-Levitt, starring the voice of Jiminy Cricket, is a Pinocchio's best friend, and he is appointed Pinocchio's conscience. He was appointed Pinocchio's conscience due to being too flustered by the blue fairy's beauty to refuse the offer, thus lacking any real skill in serving as a guide or caretaker. He made a legitimate effort to act as Cyrano to Pinocchio, but was somewhat high-strung due to pressure and became easily frustrated with Pinocchio's innocently uncooperative nature. Jiminy is also famously known as a level-headed and wise figure, capable of leading Pinocchio down a righteous path. At the start, Jiminy is introduced as a wisecracking, wasty yet generally humble realist who believe very little in magic and wishing upon a stars. When introduced, he admits that his past self initially had little faith in the idea of dreams coming true. Upon hearing Geppetto's dream to someday have Pinocchio become a real boy, by that, Jiminy was important because without him, no one will capable of leading Pinocchio down a righteous path. Jiminy is always came to view Pinocchio as his best friend and genuinely wanted him to achieve his goal of becoming a real boy. His strength, loyalty, and care towards Pinocchio, however, motivated him to finally remain by the puppet's side through the hardest endeavors and against their greatest adversary yet. There are so many memorable scenes in this film, but I will pick one which is quoted by Joseph Gordon-Levitt. When you wish upon a star, your dreams come true. Isn't that a catchy little tune? I hope that every child that have watched this movie feel the same as I was. I felt that a rush of reminiscence and happiness flowed through my body. A message of hope, dreams, and the belief that anything is possible if you wish for it. It was satisfying to watch the movie. A little piece of the puzzle that was my childhood played once again in the story where it all started. In my opinion, I really enjoyed this movie so much. It was full of action, wise, jokes, and emotion. I liked the journey of the story and how the message delivered. The animation was smooth. Its music was surprisingly good. I like how they include such a great song. The song's lyrics convey a message of hope, dreams, and the belief that anything is possible if you wish for it. This aligns well with Disney's emphasis on themes of magic, imagination, and the power of dreams in its storytelling. A lot of useful moral value, so this movie is best movie for the whole family to enjoy and having fun. So I really very recommended this movie. There are so many lessons I learned in this movie. One of it is what you look like on the outside doesn't matter. Who you are in your heart defines you. This is the same as the saying, never judge a book by its cover, or don't judge a book by its cover. It means that you shouldn't judge someone or something based only on what you see on the outside or only on what you perceive without knowing the full situation. Next was be careful on who you trust and be courage. I think that's all from me. Thank you. Bye.